Hello, how you guys doing? I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I hope you have a good day. My shoulder seem to be getting better. Uh, this video is gonna be kind of controversial, but it always uh, I'm gonna talk about the community. It don't reflect everybody in the community. Let this video be known. It's not, but it's controversial because it talks about Christians and Muslims and what what they believe in, what is the separate system. But what happens if a person leaves the faith of Islam? And I'm gonna show you a video right here. See this page? Christian teen flee from honor killing by Muslim father. So talks about the story about this happened back in 2009. This young lady named was Rivka Berry, and at the time she met some young men online, and they was talking about their faith, and and it was so she wanted to leave Islam, but according to some people, they said that you can leave, you can choose to leave Islam, but right, some people do because some people live Christianity and vice versa. They go to each one of them. Well, and they go to let me turn on my mic here so because it might be sounding kind of low. But it was a situation back in 2009, and this young lady, Rivka, Rifa, if I said her name right, she was an Ohio teenager that was recently converted from Islam to Christianity and has fled to Florida because she claims her father threatened with her with an honor killing for abandoning her Muslim upbringing. The girl's father gone to Florida where she has a refuge at a church where she found online. Although her father insists he is not a menace to his daughter, a Florida court placed her, the 17-year-old girl, in foster care until the claim can be investigated. Fatima Rivka Berry, who goes by Rivka, this is it. This is the story. Uh, this happened here in Ohio. Um, she left her home in New Albany, Ohio, and her last month she hopped on a bus to Orlando to meet husband and wife of Pastor Blake and Lauren after she met this prayer Facebook group. And the church was a non-denominational group. And they said when she came to our house, she told us her parents would not report her missing. Blake Lynn's told ABCNews.com, but they report their daughter missing and disappearance in the station's National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. At the time, Lorenz and Rivka, a native of Sri Lanka, had secretly converted from Islam to Christianity 4 years ago, but her religion has discovered recently. Rivka has snuck out to an area church where, according to Lorenz, she converted and she had a criminal encounter with Jesus. Lorenz said Rivka was so moved and posted on her Facebook page and her writings, and she been seen in friends of her family in the mosque and reported to her father, Mohammed Berry. That's when he threatened to kill her for the first time. Lorenz said adding that he didn't know on how many occasions he had threatened to meet it. A battle finally came to head, and about a month ago, he had said her mother found a Christian book in her house while Barry was out of town. Rivka's mother, he said, threatened to tell her father. She she did. So she was dead to her, dead to her. So she denounced her. When someone do that, they say dead to you, they disown you. Dead to her, and they tell her that, and if she don't renounce her Christian faith. Rivka confirmed to ABC TV Orlando that she believed her father would kill her, and they call it an honored killing. This was back in 2009, and it's a long story. I don't want because they can go on, but and it tells you how this happened. It's the story behind it. But my question is this: to some of these, to the kids of foreign-born parents, who have this, this strict mindset of, and I believe in respecting people's culture, religion. But one of the things I want to ask the question is, if you come from a Muslim country, right? It's traditionally Muslim, and you want to impart that into your kids. Wouldn't it I can understand coming over here for business and for education and raising your kids that want a better life. But there are some beautiful Islamic countries, and if they feel that much about their faith, about the Islamic faith, and I'm gonna play a couple of more videos. My question is this: if I had asked these kids or their parents, is like, you come to America in Western countries, but why is it that they could never go to another Muslim country? And why do you want to be around infidels if infidels are dirty, if they unclean people? Because that's the mindset. But it's good to make money off the infidels, but don't be around infidels. And that's to the ones that come from who believe in it, and it don't reflect all Muslims, but it's just that make you wonder. It's like, well, okay, why come to a country where it's mostly Christian and other religions, and when 3/4 of the world is Islam? You go to Turkey, beautiful country. You go to Turkey. You can go to Morocco. And you go to Saudi Arabia, and it's beautiful countries, and these are countries that are not war torn. But I could never figure out what these traditional Muslim people, that when they come to these Western countries like the United States, England, Germany, Netherlands, did someone kind of tell them like, hey, I don't think we should be over there. And it's like, maybe we can do some business. And I think if you did business as a Muslim man, go ahead, make your money, and then go back over and raise your kid and take your kids back to the country and raise them up under the traditional. But why did they come and they do that? I'm just curious. And it's like, why do you want to kill your kid? Because but this is a story. I just never could figure that out. It's like, and that's just one of the questions I would love to ask a foreign born or people who believe like that, who are Muslim. Why do you want to come around infidels?
One word, it would be innovative.
I'm just saying.
It's ironic as it's right in the name of the call.
This is a story about.
When I did call it a day, I knew it wasn't right for me. I felt immense guilt. I'd let everyone down. How I describe him was the person that I would have thought my parents had in mind for me growing up. He had everything that I would have thought on paper that they wanted, so I felt incredibly guilty. I'm quite sensitive, and I think when you grow up in a dual culture, you are sensitive about offending your parents. So yeah, there was a lot of friction. And I suppose for a few years after I broke up with my ex, I went clubbing, was out in London every single night, drank, dated inappropriate men, dated men not from my culture, not from my religious background. But that wasn't just me letting off steam. I'll fully admit part of it was. I mean, I'd just been in a very constrained relationship. I was trying to find out who I was.
Fair use.
But part of me wanted to know why these things were seen as being so bad. I hadn't even had a glass of wine until 2008. But before that, I was vehemently anti-alcohol, incredibly judgmental. But then, it occurred to me, well, how can I judge something I haven't tried? Just to see what was out there. And I think that's just part of growing up as well. It wasn't some kind of crusade to go against my upbringing. I just wanted to live life, and I wanted to be sure that next time I was with someone in a serious way, I wasn't thinking, what if? I wasn't thinking, is this the life for me? Is this something else I haven't tried? I just didn't want to be with someone because I was told that was the right person to be with.
It was love at first sight. The way I see it was love at first sight. I thought, this is too good to be true, and he thought I was too good to be true. My parents were never aware. While I was dating him, while I was on the phone to him, while I was thinking of him, they would not have a clue. I wanted to scream it out like, Mum, there's this guy, and I like him, and he likes me, and I think I love him.
I was 16, so we were friends. We were going to some birthday party. He was going to be there, and I needed some help because I couldn't skate, and he was impressing me with his skating. So sort of went round and was skating about with him, and I just sort of knew straight away the moment we sort of got talking that I liked him, and I think he felt the same. And I remember when I got home, my dad was like, "Where have you been?" And I just made out that I was doing work at college. I couldn't say that I'd been where I'd been. It was all very hush-hush. It was just me and him that knew about it. And that was all just to protect me and the fact that it would just sort of ruin my life at that stage.
I met Greg through one of my bestest friends, who's also a musician. She sang on his album, which was amazing, and I've heard it and I thought this is fantastic. And he came down to Colchester because I think she sensed we'd have some kind of commonality. And I really wasn't looking for anyone at that time. I'll be honest with you, I don't think I was looking for a relationship for a very long time. After my ex-fiancé, I was very relationship phobic. We had a conversation, hit it off, and it really was instantaneous. This felt real, it felt human.
When I was with Anthony, the guilt would disappear, everything's alright, you always feel a bit stronger when you're with someone that you love and you're having a good time. You kind of forget all your worries and all the pressure that you have at home. But literally the moment I stepped through the door, it's like a double life. I did feel torn, really torn between the two. Just walking down the street, we'd have so many looks from people like, what kind of girl are you? It was that kind of look. Like I'm bringing disrespect to my family and, dishonour, if you like, to my family. But I wasn't really bothered. I was strong enough to deal with that, The main guilt that I had was towards my faith, really. The fact that I was doing something that I shouldn't be doing. But then, I also had in the back of my mind, if I'm meant to be with this guy, then I will be with this guy, and that's part of my faith as well.
Part of the laws of Islam say that a man and a woman can only be intimate and together physically if they are married to each other. therefore we don't have what wider society might have in terms of having boyfriends and girlfriends, having a relationship before one was married to their partner. And as a result, when it comes to marriage within Muslim families, it's very much a family affair. It's not so much about the individual.
The traditional schools of Sharia throughout history have generally allowed men to marry outside the faith, especially Jewish and Christian women or women of the book. But generally, Muslim women were not allowed to marry outside the faith. That has been the traditional rule for 14 centuries.
Marriage has been described as half of your faith. All that remains now is for them to support each other for the rest of their lives in strengthening their relationship with God. When you have such a system in place, and you find a young person then suddenly wants...
Hey, assalamu alaikum. If you're a Muslim man, you need to watch this ad right now. Now, you've probably seen a lot of ads online about people making money off.
And then suddenly wants to get married, but is doing things very differently to how it's done. It can cause challenges, sometimes friction.
They locked up the shop, even though it was daytime, and they took me to the back, and my mum asked me if I've been doing anything I shouldn't have been doing, and I said no, and then I knew straight away that this is, they know something or someone's told them something. I couldn't understand how she would have found out, because I was quite careful. Then she said that she found some letters when she was tidying up in my bag, and who is this Anthony? She was really angry, really sort of vicious, saying, "What the hell do you think you're playing at?" And I would denying everything at first, denying everything, and I think they threatened me with like a broom. They had a broom there, and they said, "If you don't tell us, we're gonna beat you with this." So, which they didn't, but they did use it as a sort of tool, like, "We will beat you if you don't tell us the truth." So I told them that yes, I've been seeing, and then my mum goes, "I used to hold my head up so high, you're such a good daughter, and you're nothing now."
One day my excuses did run out, and that's when I got caught. I got caught in Wembley Market. I had ice cream on my nose. Where he bent down to lick the ice cream off my nose, and when he kissed me, I saw my mum behind him, and I couldn't breathe. I stopped breathing. I think I really stopped breathing. It was, do you know what? I'd rather be taken by the police. Once I said I was in love with him, that was it. I mean, people thought we were selling things. There was a crowd of people, because I got a slap when I was there, and because there was not much compared to what was to come. That was actually minor. I had to now lie to the outside world of why I looked the way I did. I wasn't Bushra no more. I could have actually had a better life if they didn't make me twist and lie and make every corner far easier than being at home. See, I stopped wanting to be at home because of their silly ways, and it was nothing really I was doing, so there's nothing so big. All I did was fall in love, all I did was grow breasts, and all I did was grow up. I was crucified for being in love for a good 3 months. I don't go out, don't see anyone, and have my phone taken off me. No more college, no more work, no more nothing. It became home, and home, just stay at home.
I felt genuinely sorry that I'd upset my parents, but nothing, no matter how many sorries I said, they asked me to stop seeing him, and I said, no, I don't think I will stop seeing him. And then they just said, right, you're not going to college at all anymore, you're going to start working in the shop. until the day you get married. So eventually I got to a point where I thought, I can't stay here anymore. They don't love me, they don't care. I'm just literally their slave, if you like. So I just rung up my friend one day and I said, and I knew my parents were going to be out, and I just thought, right, I've got 10 minutes to get my stuff, 10-15 minutes to get my stuff together. I'm just going. And then Anthony found out where I was and then convinced me to come home. It was all really stressful. I came home and I said, well, I need to go to college. I can't work in this shop. I'm not going to have an arranged marriage, and I want to marry Anthony at some point. And they said things would be different, but they weren't. They weren't.
Most parents tend to be overprotective, maybe rightly so, and I can understand that on several levels. One is the first level, which any responsible mother or father will feel their duty to God and the requirement to follow God's law. And then you have the societal and social pressures of your family, your extended family, friends and neighbors. In most cases, it is seen as a bad thing for the parents that, oh dear, your son, your daughter is seeing somebody.
Rivka's parents say they love their daughter and want her home. Dale Hurd brings us their side of the story.
From the moment this controversy erupted, Rivka Berry has maintained that her parents want her dead for converting from Islam to Christianity.
They love God more than me. They have to do this. And I'm fighting for my life. You guys don't understand. They don't understand.
But Mohammed Berry, Rivka's father, says that will never happen.
She is free to practice whatever she believes in, no problem about it. And she can practice in my house, I have no problem. We love her, it's our daughter. She being a Christian doesn't mean that she's not my daughter.
In an interview with ABC News, the Berrys continue to blame this Florida Christian couple, the Reverend Blake and Beverly Lorenz, for brainwashing their daughter. In July, Rivka found refuge with the Lorenz, who pastor a church in Orlando. She escaped from her home in Ohio after she says her Muslim father threatened to kill her for dishonoring the family. She found the Christian couple on Facebook. For now, Rivka's mom just wants her daughter back home.
We love her. We miss every single day. And we need her back home.
But she's saying that she's living in fear of her father, of your husband.
No, I don't think so.
You think she's making that up?
Yeah.
But those who leave Islam do so under real danger. Ergun Canner converted to Christianity when he was 16 and has paid a price ever since.
My father disowned us, disowned me and then my brothers later, and did so as an act of mercy. He did so because he believed that he knew what would face us if we went back to our home country.
According to Islamic law, any Muslim who rejects the faith commits apostasy and can be punished by death. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
You hear that? But they don't tell you about that part. But my question is that you come to a Western country. I mean, why did I don't understand this. Like, why did they come to a Western country where they got to work around people? And you gonna think your kids is you work around your kids is going with other people? That's what I just don't understand. I don't understand this logic in that. And like I said, I have seen countries in Morocco. They're beautiful and mostly Muslim.
Somebody who's not Muslim, it would automatically seem that he has to convert to Islam. That's the only way she can get married to him. And certainly.
So it's decided. We'll park even deeper into parking spaces so people think they're open.
I must leave it right there, but cause she married a Muslim, and it's like, what did they expect they was gonna do when they come to America? You know, it's like the America was basically, and mostly faithfully, you're surrounded around Christians. I mean, you in the church. I don't understand this, man. I never to figure that out. Why would they?
And they're asking, can I attend the nikah or not? and I tell her it's not even a nikah. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna play a little of this guy's video, but his video is the crisis among Muslims marrying outside the faith.
Also gonna go astray, each one in different ways.
Listen,
We have to make nikah easier. Maybe once upon a time, 30, 40, 50 years ago, we have a long list of conditions. You must have this. SubhanAllah, what is better? That a young man and woman live in some poverty in halal, or that they go to haram? What is better? That they have a halal outlet for that which is normal. Again, I'm sorry to be so explicit, but you do understand the promiscuity around us. You do understand that majority of high school kids are engaging in premarital. This is the default, and our children are a part of that default. So if you're gonna make the halal difficult, guess what? The haram is free and cheap and accessible and available everywhere. So I say to you bluntly, make the halal easier. Think proactively. Have conversations. And here, one of the tactics is very shari'i, very pure. You say to your young son, maybe going to be college, first year of college, say, you know what, I know you cannot afford to have your own, house and whatnot, but if you are interested in a sister, a lady, talk to us, we'll talk to the parents, we will have the nikah contract. Just the contract. We call kitab, right? The nikah contract done. So that you can talk, you can spend some time together, but you're not living together. And the rukhsati, as we say in Urdu, or the actual consummation, you can wait till you're available and financially stable. But at least in this interim period, kitab should be done. Nikah formalized. Everybody knows these two have a nikah. Even if they're 20, 21, at least they have each other to comfort, to talk to go out on restaurants or whatever. There are urges that are normal. If you're gonna keep on blocking these urges, say no until you have a job, until you have a house. As I said, the haram is accessible. So another point, make the halal easier, which by the way is of the goals of the Sharia, isn't it not, right? That's why the Sharia encourages low mahar, by the way. That's why the Prophet encouraged that if a good person comes to you, make your son or daughter marry. Don't make it difficult. So we need to rethink through and revive the sunnah of having nikah. It doesn't mean they have to live together. It doesn't mean that they have an apartment or something, but at least make nikah accessible. Have frank conversations with your son or daughter. And another point, again, this is very awkward, but whatever point I'm on here, and that is that you cannot expect your son or daughter in this society to not have feelings when they are of that age. Again, times have changed, and by the way, it's not as if you didn't have feelings when you were 20. The only difference is, that society, you didn't say anything to your mother or father. You just kept it within you. In this society, texting, phone, messages, they don't need your permission. They can contact each other directly. They don't need you. Isn't it better that you give them the option, hey look, keep it halal, and I'll have your back. Keep it halal, and I'll support you. Put it into their minds. If there's a dignified boy, a good lady, you're interested, we'll speak to the parents, do the nikah contract. So make this something that you put it into their minds and tell them what you're looking for. Explain to them, because here's the point. The lady that came to us yesterday or whatever, she's already infatuated with this man. She's been in a relationship years with this man. Now it's too late. She cannot think rationally because she's been in love for 5 years. Guess what? Before she fell in love, if we had this conversation, if we were given options, maybe it would have been easier because she comes from a religious household. But once you are in love and khalas, your mind cannot think, then what is going to happen? So prevention is better than the cure. Give this option to our children. Another reality that we need to bring up, I forgot which point I'm on, but you can just add it on, is that understand harshness in this society, generally speaking, will be counterproductive. And this is a very difficult topic, but it is true. In this example, yesterday's example, let me just say, for example, suppose the parents were to say, we're not going to do anything, boycott this girl completely. Guess what? She will become a darling of the media. Society will embrace her. The in-laws, everybody, she's going to become a martyr that, her parents had nothing to do with her. At the same time, we cannot embrace her either completely. So there's going to be this awkward in the middle, right? That neither do we accept, but there's still some biological ties. My point is, you cannot use the harshness or strictness. What must be used is the gentleness. What must be used is the love of Allah and the Sharia, and also reality of life. again, because I have these office hours, people call me. I had a call within COVID. It was 3-4 months ago, I forgot. And this is a story I told the lady yesterday to tell her daughter, and I'm telling all of you as well. This happened with me, i.e. the lady called me up. That she is now in her 40s, another lady. She's in her 40s, and she married a non-Muslim man. And she said at the time, I knew it was haram, but I thought, you know what, he's letting me be a Muslim, and, khalas, I don't have a husband, this is better than, she thought better than nothing. So she got married. 20 years or whatever, 15 years have gone by. Now she hears my khutbah's lectures, she calls me up. And she's crying, she's saying, I have 3 kids now, my life is established with this man, but my conscience is killing me. I don't want to meet Allah Azza wa Jal having lived a whole life of sin. My children were conceived out of nikah. What do I do now? He said, what can I do to you now? You come to me after 15 years. But anyway, my point is, these types of stories, and I said to this lady yesterday, go tell your daughter, she's only thinking about today. She's not thinking about 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Our young men and women need to be told bluntly the language that love is not permanent. It sounds very unromantic, very un-Hollywood, but it is a fact. The first time you fall in love, they need to hear it from people experienced. It's not going to be your last time. You think it's your one and only. You think you're Romeo and Juliet. You think nobody can live without your loved one. In reality, you can and you will live after your first crush if life goes on. At that stage, you're so narrow-minded you don't understand. We need to tell our teenagers the reality of love. Marriage is more than just temporary feelings of love. Marriage is compatibility. I said to the lady yesterday, and I told her to tell her daughter, what are you going to do?
To sum up the conference in one word, it would be innovative. I know that's ironic as it's right in the name of the conference, but it's so true. Everything from web-free information to the latest in acquisition and the way to be more profitable as a company. I feel like this conference covers all important topics for business owners.
The quality and networking at Retail Innovation Conference and Expo has been wonderful. I feel like there is a great energy on the Expo hall floor. It's just been so nice to reconnect.
Best part of the retailer.
I'm gonna stop it right here because I'm about to get me something to eat. But that was really interesting. The outtake of, and I mean there was some points he made, and there's right. Something about why is it not? Because that go across all walks of life, all faith of what he was mentioning when it comes to talking to your young daughters and sons about life and love. But I wanted to say this. It's just what I don't understand is that these people that came from countries like Sri Lanka, like Rifka Berry's parents, and Iran, and different places like that, and they come to the Western nations. I mean, should it be like a plan, right? That why didn't they just save enough money to go to another Muslim country? That's all what I'm saying. And there are plenty different sectors of Muslims, and there are definitely Muslim countries that are not at war, not extremely poverty. I mean, you got some places in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, some of the oil countries. You got certain places in North Africa. You got some places, that's not as strict as Iran or not anything like that. And it's a mostly Muslim country. Iraq, certain places in Iraq are mostly Muslim countries. That are Afghanistan, Pakistan. Well, obviously Afghanistan, I don't know if you want to go over there right now, but in Pakistan got their issues too. But as a Muslim man and Muslim woman, there's other places on the earth, and you keep your kids in that traditional Muslim. and the currency and the education is higher in some Muslim countries too. It is just that I don't understand that. It's like, and they come to the West, America, like I said, Netherlands, Canada, and Germany, and different places, and you see how wild it is, and you don't think it was going to influence your children. You know, it's going to influence you. You see how it is, and you're trying to maintain. You know, you see when you go to France and how the way they don't want your women wearing hijabs. You know, it was like, why would you want to live in a country like that when you can some places where, like in Morocco, or places where it's French speaking, that there's no problem. No one's gonna tell you you can go out and do what you want to do. But why do you go around Gentile countries? Why do you go around the ones that is opposite? I just don't understand that. Why would they make the mission to go? Now, like I said, I can understand the education, but it would be like this. If I was a Muslim man, a Muslim woman, said we're gonna do this another 5-10 years, we're gonna make up my money, we're gonna open up a business, save enough money, take some money, go over to another country, see you can purchase some land in those countries, and open up a business over there, and have a relative over there to open and help, maybe a brother-in-law or someone you're really close with, because that's what they do here in America, send them different groups, and you won't have to contend with all that. But why they keep going in places where there's less of them? I don't understand that. And it's like would you be around your own people so your kids, they be strong enough so when they face the adversity of this world, they be strong. 2, it's in your favor in a Muslim country, because ain't nobody gonna, if you in Morocco or Saudi Arabia, ain't nobody gonna call you out your name and tell you gotta get rid of your hit, So why go to a country? People obviously Islamophobia. Obviously, some of them against Islam, and I don't get that. I just don't understand. It's like you're trying to, but some of these nations don't accept you, and so my thing is, it's like, and if the people, if they are Muslim and live in that country, why don't they go and live in that country who accept them? Like even some place like New Zealand is a beautiful place, because you see what happened, and they, and they really were open and caring to you, and you can have your different places like that. There's certain places and other places in the world, but if you live around the infidels and people who are these are for these traditional, but I know not all Muslims are not like that. But I'm just saying, for the foreign ones who think like that, who taught their kids and stuff, it's like, wouldn't they say, well, I don't know, it's like, I'm different. It's like, why don't we go over here and open up a bit, and then people can open up a business like that. They get a plan, they get opportunity, they make money. The Arab communities, Arab American communities can think money just like that, and they, and you can be among your own people. Like there is, even up in Michigan, they got a whole area in I think in Flint. They got the representatives in Flint. They probably got some areas, I think, in New Jersey, but where the majority of you are at. In its businesses, and I mean, they can go on, they go out there on the outskirts of Detroit, but if you go up outskirts of Detroit and Flint, they got locked down. They got them politically, and they got their own schools up there. Their parents got all different type of business, and it's all different type of people who are mostly Muslims. Now there's some other Arabic speaking people that are probably Christians, but it's a mostly Muslim area in Michigan. So it's like, would it make sense to be around an area where it's mostly, and that's just one of the areas here in the States, where they keep going around people that, that they got come across these people who are not so nice to them. I just don't understand. And like I said, save enough money. If you don't like it here, you don't like it, and go to another country where, because Americans go over there. America go to Saudi Arabia and Morocco and some of them other beautiful countries where in Turkey, in some places in Turkey are nice. And even there, you got your own symbol. It's the Muslim flag. I mean, you don't get more than that. And it's not exactly poor over there. Other than, it's an unfortunate incident with that's on the outskirts of Turkey, but I just don't understand why you come around Western nations with the mindset your kids are going to be around Western nationality of people. So you got to keep them like, and so as a child, that was kind of confusing because you talk of all walks of life, but you're trying to keep this tradition, so to speak. And it's like, bruh, you in America, you in the West, you in England, you in places where everything goes. I mean, you got women that unclothed around you, practically butt naked. I mean, everything that some things that is kind of looked down upon in the Quran is like, why do you want to live around some people that's like that? I mean, I'm trying to understand. And that's just one of the things, I just want to make sense of it. And I'm not here to put all Muslims in the same category, but the ones that do and they didn't want, then that poor girl, that girl was terrified. And I believe that they do, because unlike maybe how American Muslims here, but over there, they come over there, they take it really seriously. Some of these people over in that country, like Sri Lanka and places, man, shoot. When they say, we're gonna go out and, when you leave America and you talk crazy and act out of line, they kick your butt over there. And they really, it's all hands go. A woman get out of line. But I was hearing something like, oh yeah, and if a woman get out of line in this line, do we allow to pop her? Yeah. And she being disobedient, and I swear to you, I seen this on the video. Yeah, you allowed to pop her in the mouth, basically, and she get out of line with you. Yeah. That's your wife, and your wife get out of line. And she get out of line, and this guy was talking, and he was in this, I forgot, it was in England somewhere. And it was a whole, they was in the mosque and they was discussing about relationship. And I was kind of blown away when they said that. Like, whoa, I was like, whoa. But if she get, if you have like a serious disagreement, that's how in some in countries they go. And that's why I said, man. And I'm like this, I'm not picking on their religion, but I just try to understand. It's like, why would you? That would be my question. If I was a foreign-born Muslim, why would we come to America? Okay, Dad, we feel that way. Maybe we leave America. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And then if your kids when your kids get of age, let them choose if they want to stay here or not. But if you're trying to keep that tradition, at least you'd be happy. You'll be happy with your own people, your own language, and your own custom, and your own tradition, along with business and pray and everything else. Well, why try to be in a place where it's like, that's one thing that's one of the groups I don't quite understand that. Like, why would you go to where you know that, and as the men travel out first. So them Muslim men, some Muslim men travel. They see how crazy it is. I mean, don't someone go back and tell them, hey, I don't think you want to go to America. It's a lot of this going on, a lot of this going on. No, or they have a plan, say, hey, well, maybe we need to do this and do this in another 5-10 years, because, and if you worry about having that influence over your children and stuff like that. But as long as they're going to be in America, in England, and Canada, and they're just so loose with it, this is not their home country. It's not Iran. It's not Iraq. It's not Afghanistan or Sri Lanka or any other place like that, or Indonesia. It's America. You in a Western country. And if you want, I said, and that's what I just don't quite understand, that if you that's contingent about your belief system, it's like, why are you why, I mean, like I said, I understand for business and education, but at least go back, and if you're going to be like that, and then at least do that for a certain amount of years, and while your children are still children, so you can keep that Islamic belief system in them. That would be my thing. But as long as you live in some place like England and America, what sense do that make? And that's what the foreign-born ones. Now, American, you know what it is. But it's just that I never could figure that out one. But I just found that interesting, that somebody come from Egypt or Libya, someplace like that. They come out of there, and they start getting the way of life, and they want to do the same thing like they would do over in their country. And you see, like over in England, it's like, wow, just because, and that's you can't. That's what somebody happy. We want to be happy, and it's not like, what about the child? Wouldn't they be happy? But I guess they don't want their child being happy. They want the religion and the system being happy, or they don't want to be embarrassed, or maybe something like that on a level like that. But why would you go to a place like England from Morocco? Morocco's a beautiful country. I would ask your parents. In other places in North Africa, it's probably beautiful. They ain't, like I said, I don't hear about being war torn. I mean, Turkey, they don't have too many problems over there. Saudi Arabia, different places like that, and it's mostly Muslims. So, you expect the children going to be like that? I mean, it would make sense. I mean, if I was converted Muslim and I was all into that, and following the Quran to the point, trying to be like the really strong belief in it, to the point that trying to follow the messenger and everything, that's what I would be at. Excuse me. But why would you? I don't know. Like I said, I'm not trying to be Islamophobic or anything like that, but it's some questions. That's all. If you're gonna live in a Western country, you're gonna be, and your kids. It's like, for example, if I lived around people who were, and I live in a city or state, and everyone around me is homosexual, but it goes against my belief system, and I don't get involved with homosexuality. But I'm in a city with a bunch of homosexuality. That pose was in the book because I'm following what the book, like the Bible or the Quran, said. It's like, but yet you got your kids among it, you got your family among it, you in the country heavily among it, and they don't discipline about it. You're in a country that gives more liberalism, so why be here? And if I felt that strongly as a person that come out of one of the countries, I would be here. I would save my money up, and I go back, and that would be my advice. And so your kids won't be influenced by this tradition. But that's all I got to say on this topic. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that, yeah, if you bring your kids to the West, that was going to happen. I mean, they're going to be influenced by what's around them, and that's going to have to happen sooner or later. I mean, I'm surprised that they didn't understand that. I mean, isn't this when a bunch of men sitting at the table, coughing and smoking it up? Don't they ever think about that? I'm just saying. And just have a business plan. Get your money off the Gentiles and other people, and go back with your family. Instead of trying to make it here, you're surrounded with it here. And when it's mostly over there, it's the government, it's rule, and everything has to go up under the rules of the government that honors the way the Islamic way is. By the book. By their version of God and their messenger. And obviously, you in a nation like America, where most of the people opposite of you are Christians that believe that Jesus is the Son, not only that he did prophetic things, but he is the Father through his Son. He's one with the Son. So if you don't believe that, why are you among Christians that do? That's another thing. I'm just trying to make sense. Like, why do you want to be around? You say, well, we know it. Okay, but why? I'm trying to understand. And you have many beautiful countries in the Middle East and other places that are the same faith. Businesses over there, and then your brothers in the faith. Because when you get together around Ramadan, I bet you got guys from all over in them countries. I'm just saying, have you ever just met some brothers in the faith and said maybe and get feedback in their country on where to go? Because in the West, we're corrupt, right? I mean, why would you want to be around corruption? And you know it's going to, you know what I mean? It's like it don't make no sense. Like, it's the same way. It's like, if you in a city full of debauchery, why are you there? Why are you in the country is full of debauchery? Go back if that's what you believe. So you'll be happy. And you have your belief. And your wife, your kids won't get talked about. You won't have to do what they get to go in France. The women can't be free. They gotta take off the head garment. But if they was in other countries, they wouldn't have to do that. You know how they is over there. That's my question. You can't make the laws, and you know it's mostly they're not Muslims. And there's some of non-believers and Christians and whatever other faith. That's just my question. But my question is, why be someplace if you feel strongly about your faith like that, and putting the way he put it? So that's one of the questions I have. But and just because you don't have to beat up your daughter or your son because they don't believe in something that you do. And the ones that do that. Wow. But if you truly love somebody, you don't make them force them into something that they don't want to do, or somebody they don't want to be with. You can't. You can't live their life. Then they're miserable. See, and then after a while they get suicidal. and there's probably been cases where that happened. So to those parents who are like that in their community, they need to think about that. So for it's all out of tradition, or would you want that person to be alive and happy? All right, then, ladies and gentlemen. See you next time on the next video, and be blessed.